Hello, this week we're doing discussion board number 3. The first part of the discussion says explain how the chapter on the spiritual person has helped you to be more aware of different religious or spiritual paths. And the first one I wanted to talk about was the woman who grew up with a troubled childhood. She had a failed marriage whenever she grew up, and then she ended up moving to a little town where they had studied spirituality. She says she ends up waking up 3 hours before she has to go to work to meditate. She also says that when she gets home, she meditates for 2 hours in the afternoon. This is something that really made me understand how different this religion was from the religion that I know. The only one that I know, we don't do stuff like that. Well, we can if we choose to, I guess, but it's not something that is, considered a normal thing that I would do in my own spiritual life. So that was something that was definitely different and stood out to me. And then I also wanted to talk about the lady who was experiencing the health crisis. Her name was Naomi. She had grew up with the different Jewish religion than her husband, and throughout her diagnosis that she had cancer, she was starting to question her religion and question if, God was really real. And I think that's something that people from all different religions can relate to, because I think we all have those moments in our life that, even if we are religious and we do believe in a certain God, I think at one point in our lives, everyone's had some doubts in that area. Another thing I wanted to speak on was the first story about Caroline. She says that she went to college her first year and she grew up a devout Christian. She grew up serving in her church, and it's pretty much all she knew was being around other Christians. And when she got to college, and there was people who were atheists, Muslims, other religions. She just was not used to that. And she was asking things like, I wonder what they believe. How do they not believe in Jesus Christ? What will happen to them in the afterlife if they're not saved? This is questions that I've also thought of. So I liked this story. And at the end, she also said, later on that day, she realized that if she was born in Turkey, like her friend who is Muslim, she would have probably been Muslim because that's what she was raised to be. So that's interesting to me because I've also thought that same thing before. And the last part of the discussion says, from your learning, what do you need to be more aware of in your own values, beliefs, and biases concerning religion and spirituality? I definitely think I need to be more aware that people take more time out of their day to study religion than I do, and some people do less, and it doesn't make them any better of a spiritual person. It doesn't make them any worse than me as a spiritual person. Another thing, relating back to the story about Caroline going to college, I think that I need to realize, if I was born in the same way that a person who's an atheist might have been born, I might also be an atheist. I think that the place that you grow up and what you're influenced by your parents is a significant influencer on the religion that you grow up with. So I think that's something that I definitely need to remember, that most people, they're just practicing whatever they were taught. That's how people are brought up. You teach your children to act a certain way, and they act that way when they're older. I think it's the same thing with religion. So that is one thing that I want to remember, is that this is how these people were raised, and it's all they know, and it's what they believe because it might have been instilled in them whenever they were children. That's it. Thanks you.